Welcome. Today we're talking with Monte Pedersen. He is a principal at the CDA Group, a leadership training firm that specializes in strategy execution management. Monte, welcome and thank you for joining us at today's Banker Digest.
You're welcome, Larry. It's great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Great. All right. Well, let's get started, Monte. When working with clients, what is more important, a great strategy or great execution?
Yeah, it's a great lead off, Larry, because actually, ideally, you need both. You want to have both. You want to have a great strategy, and you want to have the ability to execute. The problem is that most leaders and leadership teams don't have a solid understanding of either one of them. And let me give you an example. So when we talk about the strategy process, we essentially reference it as strategic planning. Well, the reality is there is no such thing as strategic planning. There's strategy and there's planning. Strategy is really a theory. It's your organization's best guess as to how they win in the markets and the field of play that they want to participate in. Planning, on the other hand, is something that we're all very, very comfortable with because it involves costs, and especially in the banking industry, right? We have to be, deadly accurate in terms of our planning. Mm-hmm. But how you take that plan and how you put it into action to accomplish your strategy is really what execution is all about, and that's where the problem lies. So the interesting thing, and we always teach people how to execute first, but you really need them both. But once you learn execution, something that you're probably going to commit maybe 5 to 10 times more effort than you are in developing your strategy in order to get to the results that you need. In case you can't do that, we teach execution first so that you learn the elements of strategy or what makes a good strategy from how you execute. If that makes sense.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome.
Great. All right. So Monte, what are the keys to developing an organizational competency of strategy execution?
Yeah, there are really 4 of these. And the interesting thing is the first one, if the first one doesn't happen, the other 3 don't matter. And so the first one is always, you need strong and courageous leadership. Because if you don't have people at the top that are willing to surface and expose reality, strategy is going to go nowhere. Mm-hmm. You're just going to have somebody who's basically dictating and doesn't really care what you think, and quite frankly, may not even be confident in what they want to do. So always courageous leadership and strong leadership at the top. If you have that, you have an excellent chance of accomplishing really anything. The second thing is having and utilizing a framework. You need a repeatable methodology that you can teach your people to understand what it is you're trying to do and do that on a daily basis. And so it becomes ingrained or almost emboldened in their daily pattern of management. You need something that allows you to effectively translate strategy throughout the organization. And so that's what a set framework can do for you. The third thing is you need a way to manage individual performance. You have to be able to manage your people. Organizations don't really do anything. I mean, you could make the case in the aggregate that they make these accomplishments and they hit these numbers and they're successful, but realistically, it's people that execute. So you have to be able to manage them on an individual level, and that takes a lot of extra work and a lot of effort. So bringing the strategy down and then obviously figuring out how that individual person contributes to your success. And then the fourth thing is once you know how to manage people, and we do that through a tool that we call a performance agreement, which is really just a collaborative partnership between a manager and a direct report. Mm-hmm. We have something that we call progress meetings that we like to use. And a progress meeting is about a 45 to 60-minute meeting every 30 days where the manager sits down with each of their direct reports and they're completely focused on the performance of that individual. And what that does for us is it allows us to monitor and measure their contribution to the organization on a consistent basis. And
Mhm.
you can't think of these, Larry, in terms of them being like a monthly performance appraisal. We look at them more as being coaching, guiding, leading sessions where the manager and the direct report are vested in each other's success, and they're helping each other to achieve that person. So, for example, if that person's not performing up to speed or they're confused about what it is they're doing, it's the manager's role to make sure that they help get them back on track and, get them performing well, so that by the next, progress meeting rolls around, that things are back on track and they're working well. So yeah, courage at the top, framework, and then have a way to manage your people and monitor and follow up.
Great. Thank you. So, good keys. So Monte, how would you advise clients to actually apply these keys when implementing, say, a technology change?
Yeah, technology is interesting and unique, and obviously it's what's driving a lot of business today. So this is something that everybody's got to get comfortable with dealing with. But I would say the first thing, and again, this is showing my bias, but obviously I think, organizations, bankers, credit unions, whoever, they should probably retain someone who's skilled in helping them to manage strategy execution and facilitate it. And the only reason I say that is because this isn't the kind of activity that you can go in and train the trainer on, right? Technology is complex, change is complex. You've got to have a concrete structure for going in and attacking the problem. So what that person can do for you, obviously, is to give you the tools, the knowledge, and the resources, to understand the change and then help you manage it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think about it, when it comes down to people, and this is the emotional and the cultural element involved in this, you're asking people to do something over and above what they're normally used to doing, and so you're in effect disrupting, their day-to-day responsibilities. And obviously you could argue that, goals should be a part of everyone's jobs over and above their daily duties, but you got to talk with them about why it's important.
Mm-hmm.
You have to share with them, what benefits, we're going to get from this, and what does success look like on the other side, where we're trying to get to. And so you're really trying to remove any fear and trepidation from a team member's view that, possibly this, I mean, when you look at what's happening in the banking industry right now, and automation and blockchain and cryptocurrencies, I mean, there's a lot of different elements kind of creeping in, and that's got to be unsettling and threatening to, to some people, that's earning their livelihood. So answer those questions and get people on a parallel plane with you, or path, in terms of where you're going. And then the last thing I would recommend is that you need to create a documented record of everything that you do. And the importance of that is that becomes your blueprint for the next change. That if you're able to go and follow, actually put together a flow chart and track everything that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then record what happened, what went good, what went bad, have that all in one concise place that you can, go back and consult. You actually have the blueprint for the next technology change, or even, the development of your future strategy. So those things are really critical, I think, in terms of, making wholesale changes, especially, when they involve, complexities like technology.
Great. Thank you, Monte, for spending time with today's Banker Digest. You make an excellent argument that strategy execution and project implementation need to understand and incorporate the human aspects of the people involved to not only be fully successful, but also to lay that blueprint for repeated projects, and particularly in the technology space. So again, thank you, Monte.
You're welcome.
Great. In closing, thank you for joining today's Banker Digest. If If you have additional questions for Monte, please see the link in his bio or follow Monte on LinkedIn.